All right. Match 2 of the blue-white draft, best of 3. John here.
It's not pretty. Yeah, I just thought we could do better than that.
Yeah, I like the mulligan. Put back island. I like it.
Half leader, over leader, 20-inch waist, 2-inch beater. Half leader never got laid in his life. That's rape advice. Don't do it. Half leader, over leader, 20-inch waist, 2-inch beater.
Certainly have to swooper here. Play 2 spells next turn.
See, Kyle, too, I like this card. Watch your spears. 2 for a 2/2 fine. Gets pumped when you play it with life. Kyle doesn't like that card.
I like the card just fine. It's great on turn 2.
All combat damage. I don't know how that works.
Now, I strongly consider blocking the charger here. Got a swooper back. Feels like, he can just block your swooper with his swooper. And then you're going to wind up like trading one of these for the charger anyways. Whereas if you traded for it now, then one of these trades for the swooper later, you just save 3 damage. Now, as the game plays out, you're both fucking maniacs. Don't think you can block at any point. So it works out fine. But I think, normally I would just go ahead and block there because otherwise I expect him to block, and then you're just going to trade with one of these eventually. But, it works out in a weird way.
But I don't think that he's going to die by block, so let's not do that. Look at this. I can double spell now because of this guy, because of this bad card, this bad man. 2, 3, 4. At least you can be surprised when that guy's 4/4 come in. Do I want to offer that trade is my question. I think I do.
This just seems insane to not block. It's just going to, it attacks. You can block it if you want. And it trades down further. I have no idea what's going on in this game. Neither player wants to block. Hard to analyze it, but fast and furious here in the arena today.
Card wrap me.
Again, I think I'm going to go ahead and block this charger. He's left the swooper back, presumably to block with it this time. Otherwise, I'd be surprised. If it blocks, you get to play this pre-combat. So if it's going to block, he's still going to take 5 this turn, and you'll have the Pegasus out next turn to present lethal still. And you being at 9 with this off the board, is a lot safer in my mind than you being at 6 with this on the board and this creature just tapped doing 2 extra damage. If it's going to be left back, it might as well trade now. If you're going to just ramming and jamming them, it's risky. I don't see how it's really going to work. Assume he blocks with this. Yeah, I guess it barely works. If we're assuming he's going to block here, you're taking 5 down to 6. And then you tend to attack all. He blocks something. You can play your Pegasus and block here and go to 1. It seems pretty risky to me when just trade here. The Pegasus could block this and bounce, and then you would still be presenting lethal. However, no one
Draw
likes to
player.
block. Obviously, a great draw for this spot here, the Steed.
What do we do here? So he blocks here, and he takes.
Really wanted something like a Capture Sphere, something to play along with that Pegasus to feel safe. But the Steed is two bodies in itself, which is a great draw. Makes your not block look okay to me.
Here. And I'll have a flyer back.
Yeah, because at this point, if you were to attack with everything, which you should with the Steed, if he just said, fuck it, I'm not going to block with my swooper, had you just drawn a blank there, then you're just going to die. So that's why I like really trying to go ahead and block that charger. But now that you're here, you certainly want to attack with everything. Even if he doesn't block, you're not dead on board. Um, and it seems like he's going to since he didn't attack with it.
How do I make this lethal? How many flyers do they have next turn? No flyer. Okay. I don't think I can win this race. I think I have to hold it. I hope that was my best try.
So again, my play gets punished due to a random gain land because I was going to try to set up doing 5 damage there and 6 the next turn. So that's cute. Again, any play I tend to like has been punished a lot here in these games.
Oh, that's land because you're not going to jump blocker. Can't kill that guy. So,
So this is interesting. Of course, the 2/2 has to go on the devil. Then you can decide to put like the Steed wherever. If you put it on the pack leader, you'll have an extra attacker, but you would die to like Sure Strike. It feels like that's kind of the only card that you would die to, but I'm fine if you want to play around Sure Strike here. Go ahead and trade with the Charger because it's fine to get the Charger off the board. It doesn't make his attack any better or worse next turn. It just gives you an extra lethal creature or a better chance at lethal, but plays around that card at least.
feathers go in. And
As it turns out, had you not blocked, assume he doesn't have Sure Strike, you would have lethal. But I was fine with that block, or you would have blocked the other creature, not
swing out. He goes to one. He blocks. He goes to one. I play this. He swings out. Yeah.
I like this attack.
Supposed to draw a card there. Oh my God! Please don't have anything else. No. Yes. Good. He doesn't have it.
All right. To me, this is really interesting. You just snapped this block off in a second, but I think this is an interesting spot here. I mean, it does seem like he just drew this watchdog, so probably none of this really matters. But I'm trying to think of what saves you, like why it's ever good to block. Like if he's got any removal, he's just going to kill your Pegasus, and then he's going to attack with both and kill you. If he has any combat trick, he's going to just attack with both and kill you. You have no cards, So it seems like very few cards can matter if you block here. It does also seem like there's very few cards that matter if you take it to make it better. First, I thought Swift Response. Unlikely he's got it in his hand. Then I realized if you took it, he could just Swift Response his Pitchburn Devil and shoot you and kill you that way. I came up with one card, although it's super unlikely. He could have a Ruined Halo. So if you take it, if you block, you lose to Ruined Halo. If you take it, you don't. I haven't been able to come up with any cards that punish you for taking it. Obviously, you die if you take it when he has a pump spell, but you do that anyways because he just attacks with both. So you have to think of a card that would, kill you by you taking it and him not It just seems I have a hard time believing there are going to be many that he wouldn't just attack with both. Um, and there might be some more creature removal cards that I'm not thinking of. I guess actually the 5 damage to a creature, that's one. Although again, he can just burn his devil, so it's not one. It has to be a creature removal spell that can stop one of your creatures and not kill his devils. It's very narrow. But I haven't thought of any reason that you block here that prevents a card from killing you. There may be one. I'd have to look through the cards, but in general, I think it's a spot where you should stop and think a little bit more, and just it seems like the guy's playing whatever he draws. But I think this would be a decent spot for you to time bank a little bit. Think about, it's early in the format. It's gonna be hard to know all the cards, you know. But any card that pumps, he's just sending both. Shock, he's sending both, all that stuff. So I don't know. Whereas now you're down to 2 lethal threats if you happen to have something. So I'd like to see you hitting this view battlefield button, looking back at the board, looking at his graveyard and stuff. Because honestly, I don't remember anything to put in. It all seems fine how you have it, but I have a bad memory too. I think it'd be good if you got in the habit of just looking back at that battlefield, thinking more about sideboarding. It'll help me if nothing else, because I'll get to remember more of it. But again, nothing stands out that I think the dubs are fine if you want them. Nothing has stood out here for me.
Definitely see that coming. I just don't know what for. So we're gonna do this. See if I can get another white land. I love this guy. This guy's almost constructed level good. Oh no. Does he have the team? The squad? He saw one. He saw half the squad. He's got the squad, and this is so good that there's a standard shell based around this right here. So that should tell you all you need to know. There's literally a standard deck that just did extremely well in the first big tournament since the M21. There's like 3 or 4 of these decks in the top 16 doing shit like this. I've got a dub too, dude. What do I do here? I don't want to dub though. I think I want to get the guy down. I'm going to take some hits for sure.
I agree with this line.
You guys have 2 creatures down for basket for. Well, so much for that. Ideally, I'll play Acolyte and then put dub on my Acolyte if I live long enough. This ability. I don't even know what this other part does. Well, that is good. I think we're just going to do this.
All right. Fuck.
Right now.
Okay. So I don't know if I'll be able to explain this the way that my mind sees it or not. I don't know. Maybe you kind of just got excited. You drew the capture sphere. It's a clean answer to that thing that's attacking you. But I still think the Acolyte is the play here, for sure. It's going to be hard for this Acolyte to ever get 2 counters on anything this game. Like, I'm not worried about getting kind of value out of it. You get it out there. You make this a 4/3. Get to attack for 4. You have a 2/3 lifelinker back that gets to block here if this ever attacks. Your board is just so much better for the capture sphere later. And anytime, you're going to be gaining back part of the life, it feels like, anyways, if you're going to win this game, that this is dealing you. Like putting the capture sphere on here, then you're not going to want to trade with this thing. You're taking some damage anyways, where you'd be gaining life back. I have a hard time seeing this ever like getting any better than it is right now. The earlier you get it out there, gives you options. You might just want to dub it and get a hit in. It just or swooper it and get a hit in. I just like getting it out there now when it has a big impact on the turn on the next turn on this turn and the next turn. I know it's appealing just to shut this thing down, but I think it's worse. I don't know if I explained it well enough. I think I would just block this. I know you end up taking it, but it seems like you're going to have to block it eventually. What are you going to do? Like, you play your swooper, you're still going to want to block with your battalion. You play your acolyte, you're still going to want to block with your battalion. Like maybe you play your wingmare. Like that's a pretty shitty turn. So I think I would just go ahead and block it here. But that's this is a little bit less clear, I guess, to me. But I would block. It has vigilance. Like,
Well, dang, what do I do here?
yeah, I would strongly consider attacking if you do this. I mean, I know I wanted to block last turn, but if you've gone this far, I don't know that I hate attacking. Just taking the 4 here, putting the dub on this thing next turn, and going from there. But this is fine, but you have to be willing to block at least, and obviously you should have done it last turn if you're going to do it this turn.
And then dub on that guy should be decent.
You absolutely have to block, or you should have attacked.
I trade here and I play dub on this next turn. You can't dub. That's the only reason I'm doing this. Because now he doesn't have a profitable block. Ooh. Do I get wild? Do I play Rousing Reed trying to draw a land? There's a land there that I can double spell.
Yeah, you somehow thought it had vigilance. I don't know why.
That was a mistake.
But absolutely he has lethal here if he goes for it. 4 here, 2 extra from Battle Rattle is 6. He can pump 3 times this mount. So he's got 12. We'll see. He chooses not to do so.
But I have the Vigi. Didn't have the Vigi. Couldn't he just kill me there? Just pumping this.
He could have killed you.
3, 5, 6. Beep. Oopie.
It's a good draw for you.
And I still don't have how many attackers? 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers. Got the block too.
So from this point on, I think you play pretty well. There's one big thing that we'll get to. I pretty much agree with most of this stuff. So I might be silent for a while.
I think I thought this up somewhere along the lines.
I think so.
This card's really good against me. I don't like it. I don't think this guy has much removal other than now. He's got this.
Seems crazy for him not to attack with the scanner here to me, but
I don't think I won't snap it off.
It would be interesting if he did to see if you saved it with the savior. I would lean towards just trading him. Another good draw for you.
Some way. This is good.
So I would be starting to think about trying to get this life linker in. I don't think I would do it this turn because you can just block, kill your swooper or whatever. I don't know. Maybe kill this somehow. It feels like you don't have to do it this turn, um, because you can rousing read it and then you pretty much guarantee it's getting in. But I would be looking to get that guy in as soon as possible here.
Yee. Feathers on this guy is pretty good. I don't get wrecked.
So yeah, here it seems like a clear fetters on the pitch burn. Then once you do that, he has no block on the acolyte. You have first strike. Once you first strike the cur off, even if he blocks everything, first strike the cur and the shaman, it's not killing it. And you have this savior. So I mean, priority number one is get this 4 up and shut this devil down and get this in is perfect. You've even got great blocks. He can't even attack you back with these things. So this to me was, pump the fist, nice draw, gain the acolyte. Well, I guess you're going to gain 4 off this, but still, the acolyte can just attack here.
Alright, don't fuck this up, John. Which guy do I not want to be able to attack a block? I think it's this guy.
Now, I'm sending the acolyte 100%, and then I'm somewhat on the fence whether I want to send the swooper with it. I almost think I wouldn't. I'd just rather be at 12 than be able to be at 12 and back down to 9. But I think it would be okay to send both. Now, you opt to send just the swooper, which shocks me, honestly. I feel like, the acolyte was just an easy attack, I thought, here. So I'm not sure what went wrong there.
So if I send here, my reasoning is if I send there and then he pumps this guy and cracks back, and I have a clear space for this guy with roasting meat on it.
The acolyte had a clear space anyways, and what does it matter if he chumps it? So, it's pretty unlikely that this 3 damage is going to get you, but I don't know. Maybe if you had exactly a geyser, you die there because of it. Yeah, you die to geyser that way at least.
Let me make sure he does what I think it does.
But you can do whatever you want with these cards as long as you tap that acolyte. I don't care where you put this or what you do, but you got to send that acolyte into combat.
I think that's how I got my here. Diversify a little bit. Be smart, John. Be smart.
None of this matters. Yes. He gives up.
That's a good draw there.
Good game. I think you really needed to send that acolyte. The stuff earlier in the game, very interesting stuff. I like doing different things, but it's just kind of, I don't know. This is awkward. There's some close spots there for sure. I'll be on the game match 3 here in a minute.